From the Weather NorCal Command Center, this is your morning update.
You want to go where to buy a new refrigerator? Steve's A to Z Appliance in Cottonwood? In Cottonwood? Just a 10-minute drive. And they'll save us money. New and used, honest, reliable, factory-trained repair service and parts, and they'll save us money. And dispose of this thing? We gotta make the short drive to Steve's A to Z. Thanks, hon.
Steve's A to Z Appliance, front and main streets in Cottonwood. Drive a little, save a lot.
Well, good morning, everyone. We started off the new year with some pretty decent weather, right? I mean, just a kind of a nice start. Got to go for a nice little hike with the family. Turned out to be a pretty nice day for it in the afternoon. But we are going to start to see some changes here, and it's going to start today. Now it's going to start on the coast, eventually making its way eastward, and the heaviest rainfall should be here later on today, but in advance of the storm system, the showers are moving in. We'll get into the timing of all that here in a second. Snow levels are going to be dropping too, which is going to mean some travel concerns, especially as we go into tonight and tomorrow. More on that in a second as well. And next week, I'm starting to see the models backing off on the amount of rain and snow that even just yesterday they were indicating. So we'll see. I mean, what happens with next week. We'll cross that bridge when it comes. Let's get through this week because we do have some decent rain and snow heading our way. So looking at out the door here today, temperatures in the valley are expected to be somewhere around 50. It's not going to be too terribly warm. In fact, temperatures are going to drop by about 10 degrees from what we saw yesterday. So cooler air is moving in. But that cooler air is also going to be responsible for lower snow levels than we saw last week. I mean, look at Siskiyou and Modoc County. I mean, your highs are only expected to be somewhere in the upper 30s, maybe some low 40s. That's also the case for the eastern mountains. And we take you into the north coast where those temperatures are going to be in the upper 50s today, low 50s inland. And look at Trinity County. I mean, you're not going to get very warm today, only reaching somewhere in the low to maybe some mid 40s for your daytime highs. So again, it's getting cooler out there. Now, what we're seeing here is this. You see this? This is the cloud cover moving in this morning. Now, there's not a ton of rain associated with it just yet, but there is some rain in there. But the bulk of the rain is going to be with this storm system that's spinning. You've got the colder air wrapping around that area of low pressure, so that cold air kind of digs down. Now, this looks fairly impressive, but unfortunately, it looks like, number one, it's going to kind of break apart before it gets here. Number two, the bulk of the energy is going to stay to our north. So we'll see. I mean, but for now, this one is as impressive as it looks. Doesn't look to be having a huge impact on our weather. All right, so let's take a look at Futurecast. So here we are, 6 a.m. Again, we're seeing some of these light showers in the morning hours here, but nothing terribly heavy. Again, the bulk of the rain is still off to the west. All right, so we're going to take you into around the noon hour today. And now we're seeing this line right here developing. So you see the showers, some heavier rain coming in behind that. And by the way, there is a chance for some thunderstorms. In fact, the Storm Prediction Center for today did indicate that there might be a chance for some thunderstorms, especially in southern Humboldt County. But really the entire coast, as you can see, there might be that potential for some thunderstorms. But the main headline is going to be the heavier rainfall. Now you'll notice the rain really starts to pick up in intensity as we go into this afternoon and evening for the valley. But take note too, and this is something I mentioned yesterday too, is the fact that we've got the heavier snow for some of these higher elevations. When you have heavy snow and heavy downpours like that, that tends to help also bring some of that colder air down and can lower the snow levels for a brief period of time lower than the actual snow levels are forecast at, right? So I've got snow levels around 4,000 feet, but not out of the question for Mount Shasta City. Maybe see some snow, and not to mention around Chester, Alturas eventually. But you see here, look at this. We're just not seeing much activity here. But then as it pushes off to the east, now we're starting to see more of that snow. And by the way, this is when we start seeing bigger concerns if you have to travel in the higher elevations. Because now we're seeing over those higher mountain passes very good potential of seeing some snow and accumulating snow, which would need chain requirements in the works, right? So you're going to need to stay on top of those road conditions here tonight and into tomorrow. But there you can still see some leftover activity. Now Wednesday, we're going to start the morning off with kind of another disturbance kind of pushing on through, more snow. And snow, I think, for a period of time overnight tonight into tomorrow morning could drop to as low as 3,000 to 3,500 feet. but then kind of averaging around 4,000 feet through the day on Wednesday. But notice Wednesday at noon, things are starting to kind of taper off. There's still maybe a few snow flurries off to the north and east, but even that starts to kind of break apart by the afternoon on Wednesday. Then we go into Thursday, and look at this. We actually have a weak system kind of pushing to the north, so a few snow flurries, that is, here off to the north, some light showers along the coast, but I'm keeping it dry in the valley for your Thursday. And then by Thursday afternoon, it's all pretty much gone for the mountains as well. So rainfall total estimates. Here's what's interesting. You may notice that the forecast models are backing off on just how much rain we could see. So about a half an inch to an inch, not out of the question. I think it could be more in some cases, depending on just how intense that rain gets. And as usual, we're just not seeing as much of the precipitation off to the north and east. Let's talk about the winter weather. There is a winter storm warning until 3 a.m. on Wednesday, basically for all of the areas in pink here. Now this again is where we have the biggest concern for travel. Winter weather advisory until 4 a.m. Thursday for the mountains east of the valley. Once again, it's going to be a concern as we start getting into those higher elevations for your travel. So let's take a look at this forecast snow, and really hasn't changed much since reporting yesterday. It looks like a little bit higher amounts in some areas here as we go into your Thursday, but Alturas, Aden, Susanville all picking up on at least the potential for some snow, but still in the form of rain for Weaverville and Hayfork, at least with this first initial push of rain. All right, I do this every day just to kind of give you a little bit of hope. It looks like the ski park could possibly, even at the lower level, pick upwards of a foot of fresh snow. Fingers crossed. Again, we tend to be in that, this tends to be a bit of a lower elevation at the base of that ski park, and that can create problems. But it's beginning to look like as we lower these snow levels that the chances for decent snow at the ski park are looking pretty good over the next couple of days, including later on this afternoon and evening. Road conditions as we go into around noon today, mainly in the form of rain. You can see Cedar Pass may have some issues. We can also see around Scott Mountain, could be looking at some pretty heavy snow up there actually as we go through the afternoon hours here. Now notice what happens by 6 p.m. today. We're seeing a lot more of the darker blues, which is that heavier snow. So this, of course, could create a few problems here if you're traveling here even late this afternoon. I think I-5 should be okay. I mean, we're getting borderline around, say, Mount Shasta, but maybe some of those higher elevations near Wairika could be some problem. But look at Highway 3 between Weaverville making its way to Scott Mountain. We're seeing a lot of reds in there and some of the blues. So again, we're seeing more of that snow even as you start heading just north of Weaverville. So that could be a bit of a problem. And of course, your typical problems here off to the east, especially with those higher mountain passes. Look at this though. As we go into Wednesday morning, we're seeing a lot more blue on the map. So I think we're going to be looking at a lot more chain requirements. This time tomorrow morning, there are probably going to be a lot of chain requirements that I'll be reporting on. So just be aware of that. I will be reporting on those during the morning show, during Coffee with Kruger at 6:30 in the morning, because those are live conditions. During these records, when I record it, I could certainly show you those, but those can change rapidly. When it comes to road conditions, you want to make sure you stay on top of it. But bottom line, chain requirements, most likely late tonight and early tomorrow morning. Wind advisory. The winds are going to be a bit of a problem, especially the typical spots in central Siskiyou County. And not to mention some of those inland valleys, and in particular, those higher mountain peaks as we go into Del Norte and Humboldt, kind of those exposed ridges, right? So let's take you into this afternoon, and here we are at about noon today. Look at the gusty winds, even along the coast, some gusty winds there, but the mountain ridges is where we have the bigger issues here. There it is. This is where we see those strongest winds. High-profile vehicles could be an issue here. Gusts easily upwards of 50 miles per hour. Then by Tuesday today at 5 p.m., we could actually see some gusty winds along for parts of the valley as well. Nothing major. Of course, hopefully all of your Christmas decorations are down by now. Don't have to worry about flying Santas or anything like that. But we are going to be looking at those gusty winds. By the time we get into tonight and tomorrow, those winds should start to die down, and we'll just be dealing with those colder temperatures, and not to mention some of the lower elevation snow. Thursday, a bit of a break, and then by Friday, looks like maybe a chance for a few of those morning showers. Friday afternoon looks to be fairly dry, and then there you have it. We go into your Saturday, looks like more snow. This is lower elevation snow. Now this is when we're talking about snow possibly for places like Weaverville and Hayforks, getting those snow levels down to about 2,000 feet. Then we go into your Sunday, looks fairly dry. Monday, a weak disturbance pushing through in the morning, and then maybe some activity on Tuesday as well. But for now, I mean, there have been a lot of inconsistencies on what's happening early next week, so we'll certainly keep a close eye on that for you. Look at the precipitation outlook now for January 8th through January 12th. You see how I was talking about this. The long-range forecast models are beginning to back off on the amount of rain that we will see as we go in towards next week. But we're still seeing that cooler air pulling down, so if we can get that precipitation in place, that's just going to mean more snow for a lot of those ski resorts. Here's what we have for your wave heights for today. They are increasing since yesterday, and in fact, they're going to increase even more as we take you into the next 24 hours, unfortunately. Here's a marine forecast for today. South winds at 20 to 30 knots. So yes, gusty winds. South waves at about 10 feet at 9 seconds, and from the west at 6 feet at about 15 seconds. There's your high and low tide here for today. Your sunrise and sunset. And there, of course, is that small craft advisory for today. All right, here's something new that I'm doing. I've decided to go ahead and do more of a fly-through for the area to give you more 7-day forecasts and, of course, just kind of a better perspective and more communities on the map. So we start with Trinity County. Your neighborhood forecast here. These temperatures are mainly going to be in the low to mid 40s. Some of the warmer spots like High and Palm and Burnt Ranch at about 48. But there you can see snow levels 4,000 feet, some morning showers Wednesday, and there you can see Friday, Saturday, a chance for some more precipitation and those lower snow levels. Here's your North Coast neighborhood forecast. Take it to the south, Shelter Cove, about 54, 52 degrees for Garberville. And then, of course, the rain today, and not to mention some of those showers on Wednesday. Morning showers, but nothing heavy is expected for your Thursday and Friday. Here's a look at your North Coast forecast. Looking up to the north, your inland areas, you've got showers. A chance for showers coming again on Sunday. Monday, at this point, is looking fairly dry. Temperatures in the mid to upper 50s along the coast. Here's your Siskiyou County neighborhood forecast. Those temperatures are going to be mainly in the 40s. Low to even upper 40s, just depending on where you are. And when we look at your Modoc County forecast, temperatures are going to be somewhere in the low to mid 40s for your daytime highs. 4,000 foot levels today and tomorrow. Notice the snow levels dropping down to 2,000 feet by the time we get into Saturday. Here's your Eastern Mountains forecast. Temperatures in the 40s here. Some of the warmer spots will be Quincy at about 48, 49 degrees for Paradise, and 46 for a high today in Shingletown. And how about the valley? Taking you to the south end of the valley here. 54 degrees for Willows, 54 degrees for Hamilton City, and 56 out in Oroville. We take you up north, and there you can see about 47 for Lakehead. There's a look at Redding with a high of 51, and Palisadro topping out at about 52 degrees. All right, here's your 7-day outlook. We're going to take a look at your 7-day outlook for Redding, and just kind of give you a perspective of what's happening in the valley rain-wise. So today you've got the rain. Showers tomorrow morning, a break on Thursday. I think we'll see some showers Friday morning with more showers on Saturday, and then a bit of a break from the wet weather comes Sunday and Monday.